last time we talked about some of the customs within black gangs and Mexican gangs. Mm-hmm. And that caused a big uproar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it spilled over.
For what it's worth, I don't think it was, I think it was only big because it was us that did it. I think that was the only reason, because, it really was, it was exposed on a platform that it doesn't usually get talked about.
Right.
On.
Because I don't know about you, but I didn't get any like OG calls over this. I didn't get any because I interview a lot of pretty prominent people. No one that I interview say, "Hey man, what you're saying could be problematic, this, that, and the third." It's really just the commenters and it's just people in the comments.
That's exactly what
that are so upset. None of the people actually involved, none of the black or Mexican OGs looked at this and said, "Yeah, that's pretty much how it is."
Yeah, because what we talked about, I don't know, it was pretty cut and dried, and it wasn't nothing negative alluded to in the conversation at all, but other people had said things and rebutted that I came to understand, and, people took it a certain way. Well, people always going to take shit the way they take it, so there it is, we still here. It's a brand new year, we still smiling, so.
Right, because it's just an interesting type of thing, because I just did an interview with Freeway Ricky Ross, and he's the one that kind of started that conversation with me. That
I
sort
saw
of
that.
Carried on and so forth.
He was talking about the structure between...
The structure. And he took it a step further. He talked about during all his prison time, and he was locked up he got life at one point, and ended up doing a lot of years. He said that Mexican gangs, people in Mexican gangs aren't even allowed to share a cell with black people.
With the Mexican gang, they already have their laws.
Yeah.
And you're going to follow their laws.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sleep in a cell with a black guy.
Really?
No, it's against the law.
A Mexican gang member cannot have a black cellie?
No. He has to go to the hole.
So he has to basically fight that guy?
If,
or something of that.
If the numbers are level, or it's going to be a war, then he has to go to the hole until a Hispanic cell open up.
Most definitely.
I never knew that.
Yeah. But now he was in federal prison.
Yes.
Now you have state prison, which is what probably 80-90% of the people go to because they commit state crimes. Regular felonies, then it's the same way in state prison. But what he saw there doesn't necessarily translate to how it gets down, how they get down in the state. They probably still have the same structure and the same execution and all that, but it's variations depending on where you at, in what prison, because the prison I did the last of my time at, they couldn't be on the yard. The ones who were official, they couldn't stay on the yard with us no more than 3 days before they took off on somebody, because they had declared CMC to be a non-political prison where they couldn't politic because blacks was like 70%, 80% of the population. So they couldn't come there and run the penitentiary when there's so many black people. So it was like, well, that's a no good prison. So whoever stays there, you're going to get checked on the no good list. You got 3 days to be there, figure out your target, go handle your business, and get off the yard.
So they purposely attack somebody to get transferred out of that prison?
Yeah.
Completely?
Yeah. You can't just walk to the police and be like, well, I can't be here. No, you got to handle your business. You got to get you a stripe on the way out the door.
So that's the way the process works. If you're trying to get out of a specific prison, for whatever reason,
No, just that prison, because if you stayed in that prison, you were regarded as either a snitch or child molester. They had one of Manson's people there. And this only was for whites and Mexicans. Black people, it's just normal population. Everybody come do your time and do what you got to do. But for them, since they couldn't politic the yard, then they wouldn't allow none of their people to stay on the yard and be considered still official.
What percentage of the population was white at CMC?
About 7%, 6-7%.
1 in 20. 1 in 15, something like that.
Two out of 20, 1 out of 20 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were there actual like white gangs and so forth, the Aryan Nation and so forth?
Once they consider dropouts once they stay in the prison that I was at for so long. The one I did. Now the first prison I was at, Salinas Valley, it was like cracking. So everybody from the Nazi lowriders and the Aryan Brotherhood and all that, they was official. So they came out and got down when it was time to get down or whatever. Matter of fact, when I got up there, they had just killed a police officer or whatever, and we was on lockdown. They killed one of the COs up there, and we was on lockdown. So they was very active up there. In CMC, though, since they couldn't be there, they was considered dropouts, and they didn't have no ranking or respect among whatever car they represented prior to them staying there past the 72 hours.
Well, when you're outnumbered, okay, so let's take a look. You're talking about 5-7% white. When you're outnumbered by all the blacks and you're outnumbered 4-1 by the Mexicans, what happens?
No, the Mexicans there, the population of Mexicans was probably like 20%.
Okay, so you're still outnumbered 2-1
Okay.
by the Mexicans and outnumbered 7-1 by the blacks. What happens to you at that point? How do you get fucked with, or?
You just do your time. You know what I mean? You
Okay.
kind of like get out the way and let it happen. Whatever going on around you, you try to pretty much steer clear of it. That's how I seen them operate, those who stayed there. And, some of them be cool, They ain't dropouts with us because they wasn't from our gang. Y'all decided to stay here for whatever reason.
Okay.
That's y'all business. You know what I'm saying? As long as you respect who I am and how I get down, I ain't tripping off you.